Hey there, my friend. If you're anything like me, you've probably been riding an emotional roller coaster as a Cowboys fan lately. This offseason has been anything but boring, and every headline seems to throw us for a loop. From trade rumors to coaching shakeups, and now Micah Parsons' bold comments about Mike Zimmer, it's enough to keep us all guessing about what's next for our team. Let's start with that Micah Parsons clip making waves. Did you catch it? Our defensive star didn't hold back, sharing his thoughts about Zimmer potentially rejoining the Cowboys. But here's the thing, it didn't sound like Micah was fully convinced that Zimmer even wants to come back. He mentioned how Zimmer's priorities might lie elsewhere, like enjoying his life with his fiancée. And honestly, can we blame the guy? But as fans, this opens up a bigger question. Should the Cowboys consider bringing Zimmer back at all? Do we need a defensive specialist like him to shake things up, or should we focus on fresh blood to move forward? I'd love to know what you think. Let's settle this with a quick poll in the comments. Should Mike Zimmer return to the Cowboys? Yes, we need his experience. No, it's time for new ideas. Drop your vote down below, and if you've got a strong opinion, feel free to explain why. I'll be keeping an eye on what everyone thinks, so don't hold back. And hey, if you're enjoying these updates, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we'll unpack next. Now, let's shift gears a little, because this offseason drama is only just beginning. Alright, now that we've set the stage, let's dive deeper into Micah Parsons' relationship with Mike Zimmer. This isn't just a story about speculation or coaching changes, this is about how one of our brightest stars feels about working with someone like Zimmer. If you've been following Micah since his rookie season, you know how much he values mentorship. Zimmer, with his defensive mind and no-nonsense approach, seems like the kind of coach who could bring out the best in someone like Micah. But here's the catch, Zimmer is also known for his demanding style. Would that mesh well with Micah's personality and the culture of this team? Micah's comments suggest he respects Zimmer, but he also left the door open for doubt. He talked about Zimmer's time with the Vikings and how those years might have taken a toll. It makes you wonder, does Zimmer still have the fire to tackle a role as intense as coaching in Dallas? Now, here's where you come in. Imagine you're in Micah's shoes. Would you want a coach like Zimmer to push you to your limits, or would you prefer someone with a more modern approach to leadership? Let me know in the comments. What kind of coach do you think would bring out the best in Micah Parsons? Fire a tough, old-school disciplinarian like Zimmer, glowing star a more player-friendly, modern leader, and don't forget to share your thoughts, your input could spark some great debates. Stick around, because up next, we'll explore how Zimmer's coaching philosophy could reshape the Cowboys' defense and whether it's the shakeup this team desperately needs. Now let's get into the heart of the matter. What would Mike Zimmer bring to the Cowboys' defense if he joined the team? This is where things get really interesting. Zimmer has built his career on crafting tough, aggressive defenses. Think back to his days with the Vikings. His teams were known for their discipline, physicality, and ability to force turnovers. That kind of approach could be exactly what the Cowboys need right now. But let's not sugarcoat it, Zimmer's defensive schemes are complex. They demand a lot from players, both mentally and physically. For someone like Micah Parsons, this could mean unlocking a whole new level of his game. Imagine Micah being used in ways we haven't seen yet, blitzing from unexpected angles, disguising coverages, or even lining up in roles that confuse opposing offenses. On the flip side, there's always the question of fit. Zimmer's last few years in Minnesota were rocky, and some critics argue his methods might not work with today's players. Would the Cowboys' locker room embrace his tough love approach? That's a gamble Jerry Jones and the front office would need to weigh carefully. Here's a question for you, do you think the Cowboys should take that gamble? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Yes, Zimmer's defensive brilliance is worth the risk. No, we need a different direction for this team. And while you're at it, think about this, if Zimmer does come in, who do you think would thrive the most under his system? I've got a few players in mind, but I'll save that for later. Speaking of later, in the next chapter, we'll take a closer look at Jerry Jones' role in all of this and why his decision-making could make or break the Cowboys' season. Now, we've got to talk about the man behind the curtain, Jerry Jones. As much as we want to talk about players and coaches, the reality is that it all comes down to Jerry's decisions. And right now, we're at a major crossroads for the Cowboys. If you've been paying attention to the news, you know the Chicago Bears have asked for permission to interview Mike McCarthy. This is huge because it puts Jerry in a tough spot. McCarthy is under contract with the Cowboys, but if he's allowed to interview and sign somewhere else, Jerry's going to have to act fast. But let's be honest, if Jerry really wants to keep Mike McCarthy, it's not just about giving him another year. There are rumors swirling that Jerry may need to change the offensive play-calling situation. And if you ask me, that's a big red flag. Think about it. McCarthy's been solid as head coach, 12-5 records 3 seasons in a row, consistent playoff appearances, and a top-tier offense. Yet Jerry wants to start putting stipulations on how McCarthy runs his offense? That could lead to some serious tension. Now here's where it gets interesting. Do you think Jerry's going to let McCarthy walk? Or will he take a gamble and risk messing with a proven formula? We've seen Jerry make some wild moves before, but is this the time to go in a completely new direction? What do you think? Drop your vote in the comments. Keep McCarthy but make the changes needed. Let McCarthy go and start fresh. Coming up next, we're going to dive into the possibility of Tyreek Hill joining the Cowboys and why Micah Parsons is all in on that move. You won't want to miss it. Alright, let's shift gears and talk about the buzz surrounding Tyreek Hill and what it means for the Cowboys. Imagine for a moment what this offense could look like with Tyreek's explosive speed. Pairing him with CeeDee Lamb and the dynamic running game we already have? That's not just dangerous, it's downright unfair for opposing defenses. And here's the kicker, Micah Parsons is already campaigning for it. You've probably seen his tweets or comments on social media, making it clear he's all in for bringing Tyreek to Dallas. If you ask me, that says a lot about Micah's mindset. He's not just thinking about defense, he's looking at the big picture and what it takes to win a Super Bowl. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Tyreek Hill isn't a free agent yet. There are rumors swirling about his potential availability, and if there's one thing we know about Jerry Jones, it's that he's not afraid to make a big move when the stakes are high. The question is, does Jerry see Tyreek as the missing piece, or will he stick to his usual strategy of building through the draft and mid-level trades? Now, I want to hear from you. If Tyreek Hill becomes available, should the Cowboys make a move? Or do you think it's too risky, given the salary cap and other needs on the team? Let me know in the comments. Go all in and sign Tyreek Hill. Chart increasing, stick to the current plan and build through the draft. It's clear that Micah Parsons sees the potential. And honestly, who wouldn't? But this decision could define the Cowboys' direction for the next few years. Before we wrap up, here's a quick challenge for you. What's the one move you think the Cowboys absolutely have to make this offseason? Share your ideas below, I'll be reading every comment. And that's a wrap for today's video. If you're as passionate about this team as I am, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and join our Cowboys family. Together, we're going to ride through every high and low of this offseason.